What's up guys, this is Astranox. It's time for the showcase of Lionheart Cermia. This hero is insane guys. There's different ways to build this hero. I have her on counter immunity set. It's working really well on Sigurd's side. But I'll be talking about different builds that you can use on this hero. So her skills, I'll be talking about them. Pros and cons, I'll be reacting to the battles. She's got health for top and front position, which is good to help the team survive better. She's got crit chance imprint for herself, real cool. So her stats, I have, well, 99% crit chance, right? The crit damage, I mean, I could scale that up. The defense is pretty high up there. The health, I wish it was like around 15,000. I feel like it's a bit too low. I didn't have to worry about getting speed on her. So there is that. And the thing is, this hero, you can have her on a speed set with immunity. You can have her on like counter immunity, counter penetration even. You could have her on counter resist set, speed resist, speed penetration maybe, but counter will be triggering the skill 1. So I feel like penetration would be better suited with a counter set. I mean, you could have her on a lifesteal set with the 2 pieces that I talked about. You could have her even with a defense set to push that defense even higher. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing, guys. Like, the damage is quite up there. And you have to remember, this team is tanky. They have quite a bit of defense. They have defense buff, right? But the skill 3 attacks everyone. 50% defense penetration is ridiculous. She gets an extra turn. So skill 3 and 2, the skill number 1. So much damage for a hero that has such high survivability. Look at the damage. 6,000, 7,000. I mean, they have defense buff, guys. They have defense buff. Just keep that in mind with Aureus on Adventure Raz. You will see against other teams that don't have defense buff. Maybe they don't have, you know, Aureus, Adamant Shield, stuff like that to keep them alive. But I'm really happy with her damage. She definitely feels OP, right? Yeah, she feels broken. Like, this hero is just bringing the pain with such good survivability. And she's got other things in her kit. The skill 1, speed buff for herself, so she's able to cycle faster. Now the skill 2 is quite huge. The skill 3, guys, there's no cooldown. You need 80 fighting spirit to actually use it. You can use it as many times as you want. You just need to build 80 fighting spirit. And as you can see, I used skill 3 twice already because I'm triggering counter attack, and the skill 1 gives 20 fighting spirit. So it's that much easier to get the skill 3s in faster on a counter set. But you can cycle fast on a speed set. You can build some speed on her, and then you're gonna be able to get, at the start of the battle, you get 40 fighting spirit, okay? And then every time you trigger her passive called Shine, it will give her defense buff, effect resistance buff for 2 turns. That thing has 2-turn cooldown after skill up. It's beautiful. Now, for that thing to trigger, you need to have one of your ally get hit with a dual attack, extra attack, or counter attack. That is a big deal because Shine also gives her 50 fighting spirit. What that means is that if the enemy goes before your team, or before her, I mean, right? You got 40 fighting spirit at the start of the battle. Look at her damage, it's great. And then if Shine triggers, you get 50 fighting spirit. You are at 90 fighting spirit, and you need 80 to trigger to use the skill number 3. So even no matter your build, you know, counter, speed, lifesteal, you're gonna be able to open up with the skill number 3 unless you have insane speed and the enemy team didn't go yet and they didn't, you know, hit you with an extra attack, dual attack, counter attack. So that's the thing. If you have your team with heroes that are faster than her and attacks that hit everyone, right? Like my Fallen Cecilia attacks their whole team, so there's a pretty good chance for a counter attack from counter set Elbrus Ritual Sword to happen, right? Maybe they open up with like a hero that will have an extra attack, right? Like Tenebria, Fairy Tale Tenebria. She, you know, use skill 3, and then when one of your hero attacks, you know, their team, and you have Resurrected Provoke, she will trigger her extra attack. Like, that's an example, and then it will trigger the Shine. Maybe you attack like a Green Violet. Like, there's so many different ways to have a counter attack happen. Maybe you crit a martial artist scan, boom, that's it. Her skill 2 is happening. That's the cool thing. Even if it's attacking her, it's anyone on the team that get hits with a counter, duel, or extra attack, so that's perfect. You can use a skill 3 with her against a green Violet, and then what happens is that he counters you, like most of the time he counters, right? And then after you use the skill number 3, you will be getting defense buff, effect resistance buff, 50 fighting spirit, the shine will be triggering, and then you're gonna have that for the skill 1, which is real cool. So you can definitely have a lot of skill 3s happening throughout the battle. Really liking it. So I would need to try her out on a speed set with maybe a penetration set, counter penetration. Like there's really different ways to go about it. It's really about your playstyle, guys. Like it really depends on how you play the game, right? Maybe your account has, I mean, speed cleave. It's gonna be a rough one because you're trying to outspeed the whole enemy team, so they won't have time for extra duel or counter attack to happen for her to trigger the shine. So you're gonna be like building the fighting spirit by using skill 1 until one of these 3 things trigger her shine. So you need to go against a team that does have one of these 3 things happening. You cannot rely on a dual attack that they will be doing because it's a big if. Unless they have a hero that guaranteed trigger a dual attack, like Adventure Raz, right? Like a Cerise with the skill number 1. There's quite a few heroes that can trigger dual attack. So if they have a hero like that, that's an easy way for you to have the shine happen. But some hero, they might be avoiding to use that skill for that purpose because that's the only way for them to trigger the shine. Maybe they get unlucky and they trigger a dual attack with one of their hero, and that's one way to have the shine happen. So she's self-sufficient. Defense buff, you don't need to bring it. She has it in the kit if she triggers the shine. Effect resistance buff, 50% effect resistance. Then she has 30 from Awakening. You are at 80 effect resistance. Put a Strack 4-star Gauntlet on her artifact. Man, that is 140 effect resistance already. You don't even have any on your gear outside the artifact. That's pretty insane right there. You can push it. Have some F-Res on your subs. You don't even need to go main stat F-Res on the ring unless you're really crazy and you're pushing for like 300 F-Res for some reason. But to be honest, you're not gonna need to do that. So yeah. Now the damage is really high up there and I'm liking that. I'm really liking it because she has so much defense. So good, damage mitigation. Very good damage mitigation. It's hard to take her out. But if they have a hero that penetrates defense, like a Watcher Shuri, she's gonna go down like one shot. It's gonna be way too easy. That's definitely a weakness of her. But if the enemy has Straz, right, and he attacks with skill 3, she's not gonna be the hero with the highest maximum health on your team. So you don't really have to worry about that 100% defense penetration that Straz will have. I mean, whatever, 50 to 100%. So there's that. So yeah, this hero doesn't have too many weaknesses, but the shine, if it doesn't trigger, it will be unfortunate. If it gets really delayed later on in the battle, they could just ignore her and just take her out later. So if you want her to be more impactful, you definitely want maybe like her with more speed on a speed build, maybe speed main stat boot. I went on a like 10 win streak with this hero, no problem. I'm supporting her, in various ways, boosting her survivability. I have Aureus maybe on a night. I mean, that's the majority of the time, really helpful. She's got the Sigurd Sight, which is allowing her to replenish some health. Look at that. Look at that. Triple counter attack versus Tempest, and that's so beautiful. I love that. I love that. So you can see this is a turn 2 team. My heroes are tanky. I'm bringing various utilities like Barrier from F.O.O.L and CC, Aureus on FCC. I have Designer a little bit so I can remove debuffs from my team and I can put their skill on cooldown. I mean, I can remove buffs with Archdemon Shadow. I can, deal quite a bit of damage with her. I have imprints that boost like health. Yeah, it's a great team to just take the damage and be able to survive long enough to take them out before they can take you out. So it definitely feels good to do that without requiring a healer. But I do bring her along with two weavers like, Ruel of Light. I bring her with Rowana, and she works great with Rowana because if the team will be counter-attacking, triggering like extra attack, That's free healing from Ruana. The Shine will be triggering on her. I mean, it's definitely a solid combo and very, very dangerous. Sigurd side triggers there, some healing happening. It doesn't need to heal for an insane amount. That's the thing. She's got such high damage mitigation because of the amount of defense she has, especially with defense buff. And these heroes are tanky, man. That's the thing. Like, the Soul Burn on skill 1, allowing her to deal even more damage. The speed buff, allowing her to cycle faster. If you have on a counter set, she countered speed buff for her, so that means she's gonna be going faster. So that's good. You do have to be careful about Landy, guys, because she's gonna have already like 3 buffs, right? Like, she has defense buff, effect resistance buff, and speed buff. So that's gonna be a dangerous Landy, especially if you have more buffs on the rest of your team. So definitely be careful about that. Landy is a big threat, so you might want to control her or take her out of the equation ASAP. But yeah, I mean, the damage of skill 3 into the skill 1 is ridiculous. Really like it. Look at that, she just survives with a sliver of health. It's all good. She's also light, and there's a lot of dark threats, dark heroes that deal a lot of damage. So you have to be careful. Maybe versus the AI in a controlled environment like arena offense, arena defense, guild war offense, defense. Like, when you go on offense in a controlled environment, the AI will be targeting, you know, the element they're stronger against. So if they have dark heroes, they're gonna be working hard on Lionheart Cermia. So be careful. Keep her alive with various ways, like healing. It could be like maybe the Shine doesn't trigger, so you bring a defense buffer in the team, and that's a cool way to fight against a team that you don't feel like they're gonna be triggering your Shine from skill 2. Bring a defense buffer. It's gonna be boosting your team's survivability. It's gonna be boosting her damage. It's great. Like, you bring a Crow, which is such a powerful hero. I mean, Adventure, Raz, Doris. I mean, there's various defense buffer in the team that can work just great in a bruiser team, tanky team, turn 2 team that is slow. No problem, right? So really cool that you can just put a bunch of defense gear on her laying around, and she's just gonna bring the pain. And various ways to build her counter set speed. I mean, life steal, she could be quite annoying. And artifacts, I mean, you could go for damage with Portrait of the Saviors. I like to have damage that's just there, and you don't need to have their health at a certain threshold for the damage to be activated, the damage increase. So, I mean, you could have the Unity artifact from Guild War. She's gonna have some hit chance versus evasion-based heroes. That's pretty good. But there's other ways to you know, have an artifact on her. You could have like the Strike Gauntlet. You could have Sigurd Side. You can have Draco Plate. So yeah, really powerful stuff. Pretty solid artifacts. I mean, you can go Durandal. There's quite a few artifacts. So real cool, right? Like, you don't need. The cool thing is that she's not gonna be competing with too many heroes for gear. So that is definitely a plus, and she can fit in quite a few different teams. She's gonna be a selfish hero, that's the thing, right? Like, she does bring the pain, and you don't need to babysit her that badly because she's gonna survive so well with the amount of defense she has, especially with the self-defense buff from Shine if it does trigger. So yeah, you can, you know, work on healing other heroes before herself, so that is definitely cool. But yeah, she's definitely a selfish hero outside of the damage. So you do have to keep that in mind. The fact that she doesn't land any debuff is a good thing in quite a few cases. You know, Champion Zerato, debuffs could be problematic. You could be bringing her in PvE content as well, and there's quite a few PvE encounters, especially in the Abyss, where, you know, landing debuffs is a problem. But you can do all PvE content without requiring a 5-star Moonlight hero, and this is not a must-have hero, guys, right? Unless you feel like she's gonna add up to your lineup. You have a bunch of like defense gear laying around. You have a great warrior artifact for herself. Then yeah, by all means, especially if you luck out to get her. But using a pity for this hero, you definitely could. I mean, if you like her design, design's pretty solid. She looks pretty great. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that you can pull off with this hero. But if you fight a team that don't trigger extra attack, dual attack, counter attack, it might be problematic. But the thing is, a lot of heroes do have one of these three things. Even if they don't, a dual attack could be happening throughout a long battle, so keep that in mind, right? So she doesn't have many weaknesses outside of like high defense penetration that could one-shot her. Yeah, the fact that she's, you know, self-sufficient, she definitely has this ability. So she's going to be hard to take down. Even if they focus her down, especially on a counter set, you could get quite a few skill 1s in and then get a lot of skill 3 out of that because you're building fighting spirit at the same time. So yeah, I'm really liking this hero and I want to try her out in other content, World Arena. We'll see, man. Like, there's other builds, so that's really exciting. You don't need to be farming Banshee. It could be Wyvern, right? That's the thing, man. That is the thing. You could have her on injury as well. Anyways, let us know what you guys think about all that in the comment section. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.